trying to get across. So I'm not sure I'm being clear. I don't know how to be more clear because, like I said, I'm not really a computer person. But we're looking for an experiential learning of the content that we're going to give you guys.
And so if you think back, I know you guys are probably too young, but before the web, people were presented with a question of how do we present our marketing material that talks about our company or our stuff in a way that the whole world can do it. And then HTML came out, and you could do it very simple, and the first thing companies did was they put up their brochures. They copied their brochures, put them up, you could go to www whatever, and you could see like a little, 8.5 by 11 kind of brochure. It was very static, it wasn't interactive, no one ever heard of blogs, there wasn't any video, there wasn't any audio, it was just, oh, I can bring a page up and go, oh, I see General Electric makes things. Okay, so that was kind of the very first experience, and obviously it's come a long way from that. What the Second Life experience is, because it's a 3D virtual world, an area of research that's being done in universities is how to take learning theory and game theory and combine them. So I know you guys aren't gamers, and I'm not a gamer either, but it was fascinating trying to, reading about it and trying to understand this. The thing is that you have to understand these are 12, 13-year-olds. You remember, I know you guys can remember better than me how hard it was to sit in a class in the scripture verse maybe, or the 3D out. How do you just kind of discover what it is, and then get points and some kind of reward as you learn that particular thing. And then other folks have been taking other master's theses have been coming out where they're saying, okay, how do we quiz the kids? We don't want to give them a test. A test sounds like school. We want to be able to say, what do you know? How can you answer these questions? And then once they're answering those questions, then how do you even keep track of their grades? I mean, you guys have Blackboard to keep, your professors have Blackboard to keep track of your grades. There's a competitor Blackboard, which is a free version called Moodle. And it's very similar to Blackboard. It's free, runs on a Unix platform. Well, sure enough, some grad student put how do you get the results of a Second Life test, a quiz, let's not call it something schoolish, Second Life, well, I'm going to call it a test. How do you get the results of that into that student's grade book? Well, they've sure enough got a Sloodle, which is the Second Life interface to Moodle. Also, in-world, in the Second Life environment, you can pull web pages down, real web pages from the web, or so there's ways of interacting between the web world from the Second Life virtual world. So the question is, we can restate what she's saying, how to make that fun for kids. Now, on one hand, you might be thinking, well, this is a stupid project and it's a game kind of thing. Who cares? Why is that software engineering? And the other thing you might be thinking of is how do I possibly, from scratch, come up with this creative thing? I'm not a marketing director, I'm not a graphics designer, or some kind of a Disney storyteller or creator. And those are valid reasons, or valid things to consider. But Christy is a customer coming to you guys as computer folks saying, how do I solve this problem in the computer world? And one of the things that we would suggest, which by the way is the same spiel we're going to give for the Drupal project, is to go out and shop. In this case, the best thing to do would be go into classes that are on Second Life that are offered for free, go into those classes, see what they do, and think to yourself, is this a way of presenting information to a 13-year-old? And if it is, that's great. We would look at that, and if not, then why not? Okay. But then in the end, someone's going to have to script this using the Java-like script. Now, do you write from scratch everything in Java, in the Linden scripting languages like Java? No. You see what other people have done, what libraries are available, what can you buy from certain companies. Is there a consultant to to ask, how do I do this thing? Part of the SecondLife project is an island, we use for Christ Island, it's going to be set up an area for building in the adult world. And so that'll be put on Dr. Scott needs to help us come up with a time of when that needs to happen, because we're actually got the order in, we need to get the order in right away. And then the second thing that, what's the second thing right here? Oh, the second thing in the budget is to be able to purchase certain scripting libraries, and you can purchase them in SecondLife. So there's a real currency that we have to take US dollars to exchange to Linden dollars, and then you would be able to look through and buy certain scripts and then certain libraries that are available in SecondLife with the Linden dollars, and so we'll provide a budget for that. And then also, as in terms of the budget, I mean, in a real world, if you're a real company and Christie's a real customer, which we're pretty close to that situation, you would also want to most likely hire some consultants, because if you don't know the answer, you'll want to be able to find someone that does. And so we do have some money to be able to house an hour, which means you got to be able to make sure you got all your questions in a row ahead of time. So reading the books, going on to wikis, finding out what people have done, getting experience in the SecondLife area yourself, thinking through the eyes of a 13-year-old, what would be good for them, finding the master's theses and read those on how they've put together, what other people have done, and then come up with a solution. Dr. Scott, is that explained well, or
yeah,
anything to add?
Yeah, no.
Anything to add one way or another?
No.
Okay, now, the other project is at a little disadvantage because the lady who was going to present that was unable to come today. But what was proposed for that project is using Drupal, which is a content management system on the web. This is not the SecondLife project. We're doing a little tangent here, a little parenthetical. Drupal is a content management system for the web. And they're going to be presenting you with a challenge of, hey, they need a certain thing done on that project. And they would like to have it done in the context of Drupal. Well, Drupal has got thousands of already written modules. So a lot of the Drupal development, which by the way, the software engineering class from 2 years ago did, a lot of the Drupal development is shopping for modules. Find out what modules are available. What do they do? Are they appropriate? Do those modules work with other modules? Have they been tested? Who wrote them? Are they maintained? How good are they? What are other people saying about it? Who else is using it? In the case of SecondLife, we think what you'll be doing is, and suggest what you'll be doing is getting in the world, finding out what's available, who's doing classes. Most of the classes are for adults. What does that mean for children? Can we translate that class, make that approach a little bit different for kids? Can you make the avatars talk? Can you have the avatars do the presentation? Do you suggest doing motion capture so that when they're talking about Jesus, the guy's up strutting around talking about Jesus? I'm just teasing on that one. But do you do the motion capture stuff? Does that make sense? Is it more appealing if the avatar can go like this when they're saying, please consider your life, as opposed to what the avatar can do kind of naturally? Or do you want to get some scripts? Because you can have scripts, you buy them, get them free, and someone will come to make the avatar do certain movements, and maybe that should be synchronized with the audio or synchronized. You guys, the sky is the limit. I'm trying to figure out the best way of doing it. I'm reading one of these research papers that talks about how is game theory and the